Word salad, anybody? Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Word salad is a confused or unintelligible mixture of seemingly random words and phrases. It's most often used to describe a symptom of a neurological or mental disorder. Schizophasia is used in particular to describe the confused language that may be evident in schizophrenia. The words may or may not be grammatically correct, but they are semantically confused to the point that the listener cannot extract any meaning from them. In many instances, you recognize the words that are being used. You recognize the phrases that are being used, even the short sentences, but the overall effect is that you can't draw any meaning from them. It's often the case where there are neurological or psychiatric conditions in which a person attempts to communicate an idea, but the words and phrases they actually use appear to be random and unrelated, and they come out as an incoherent sequence instead. Often, the person who is issuing these words is unaware that they didn't make sense. So, as explained, this can be witnessed in relation to somebody who has schizophrenia. It might be in instances where someone has dementia. You hear the words, but you can't draw any meaning from them. Word salad also occurs in the context of the behavior of a narcissist and is, whilst similar in the sense that it has the same description as a word salad, its driver is entirely different from those whereby it's a symptom of schizophrenia or dementia. A word salad is a form of manipulation that is utilized by the narcissist, once again, in pursuit of the prime aims. The word salad is used as a consequence of enabling the narcissist to either assert control over people or nullify a threat to control. So, for example, there might be instances where the narcissist is asked a question, which of course is a threat to control, and their response is to issue a word salad. That word salad makes sense in the mind of the narcissist, but doesn't make any sense in the mind of the questioner. Nevertheless, they may well back down rather than want to admit they don't understand. In some instances, they will say, that doesn't make any sense. And of course, when you say that to a narcissist who has just explained themselves, the narcissist can't understand why you're questioning them further. The narcissist has just explained themselves, and from their perspective, in a clear and coherent fashion. You have failed to understand, therefore you are the problem. And you may well then be met with another dose of word salad, or for the narcissist to be dismissive, by simply stating, I've explained myself once, if you can't get it, that's your problem. I'm not wasting my breath on you again, and shuts you down. You may then decide not to pursue the matter further, in which you have then given control. Or if you do, the narcissist simply waves a hand at you and walks away, asserting control then by withdrawal. The word salad makes sense to the narcissist, and if you ask them to explain it further, and they're moved to do so, they'll simply engage in yet more word salad. Again, believing it makes perfect sense, because it does from their perspective. If you try and break down elements of it, and they are moved to respond again, you'll just get more word salad. And it's done to nullify your threat to control posed by you questioning. It can also be used for the purpose of asserting control. Certain narcissists, typically mid-range narcissists, dole out word salad as an attempt to sound impressive, to sound as if they know what they're talking about, that they are giving a speech, and they ramble on. Nobody challenges them because it might be that the individual holds a position of power, that they are in a particular place in a hierarchy, and the person would feel silly challenging them. they would think, well, surely this person knows what they're talking about. It must be me that doesn't get it, and they remain silent. The word salad in such instances denotes the grandiosity of the speaker, the need to assert control over the audience, where they all might be thinking, what the fuck was that I just listened to? But nobody speaks out. Indeed, in some instances, they may well cheer and applaud because it's easier to do so. The narcissist has got precisely what they want: an audience that is under control and an audience that is providing them with positive fuel. Whereas many in that audience may be wondering, what on earth have I just listened to? But dare not, for reasons of not wanting to either look silly or in some instances to be persecuted, dependent on the regime, to ask, do you understand what that person was talking about? This is often the psychology of crowds, that they will just go along with it in order to fit it in. I'm going to provide you with a recent example of a word salad issued by Kamala Harris. This isn't any political point scoring, but simply utilising video footage coming from her. Many politicians speak in word salads, engaging in talking in a fashion which makes no sense other than to them, which is a way, as I've just explained, either of nullifying a threat to control or asserting control over individuals and drawing fuel. And we have an example of it here. Let's see the footage.
We love our country. I love our country. I know we all do. That's why everybody's here right now. We love our country. We take pride in the privilege of being American. And this is a moment where we can and must come together as Americans, understanding we have so much more in common than what separates us. Let's come together with the character that we are so proud of about who we are, which is we are an optimistic people. We are an optimistic people. Americans, by character, are people who have dreams and ambitions and aspirations. We believe in what is possible. We believe in what can be. And we believe in fighting for that. That's how we came into being. Because the people before us understood that one of the greatest expressions for the love of our country, one of the greatest expressions of patriotism, is to fight for the ideals of who we are, which includes freedom to make decisions about your own body, freedom to be safe from gun violence, freedom to have access to the ballot box, freedom to be who you are and just be, to love who you love openly and with pride, freedom to just be. And that's who we are. We believe in all that. And so this is a moment where we stand knowing what we are fighting for. We're not fighting against. It's what we're fighting for.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Vice President.
There you are. You recognise the words, you understand the phrases, but it doesn't actually mean anything. It's just this meandering, we love our country, I love our country, I know we all do. We take pride in the privilege of being American, and this is a moment where we can and must come together as Americans, understanding we have so much more in common than what separates us. Let's come together with the character that we are, so proud of about who we are, which is we are an optimistic people. You can understand sections of it in terms of, yes, we're an optimistic people. Yes, let's come together. But as a whole, it's just this meandering mess. It's meaningless. And it's quite similar to the type of stuff that this one's wife would come out with. And it's done because this particular narcissist is asserting control over the audience. What is interesting are the reactions of two separate groups, or an individual and a group to be more accurate. You'll notice that the crowd applauds and cheers, simply providing her with the confirmation subconsciously that they're under control and with fuel. They probably think, what on earth is she talking about? But as I mentioned earlier, they just run with it. But what is particularly entertaining is the reaction of Oprah Winfrey. You can see that she's thinking, what on earth is she going on about? And is almost willing her to shut up. And in particular, when she goes, that tells you everything you need to know about what you're listening to. There's no what, but a That is demonstrative. As stated, many politicians engage in this, and it's part of their grandiosity, the need to assert control or nullify a threat to control, the need to draw fuel. It can form part of a facade. The narcissist thinks, yeah, what I've just said there is brilliant and people are reacting favourably to it. But it is a word salad, and it is a form of manipulation that is often used by narcissists, typically those of a mid-range nature. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for watching.